Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video we're going to be talking about when you could expect to see the next tornado outbreak. It's actually been a few weeks now since we've had much tornado activity, so I'm going to talk about an event that's going to be happening today actually, and then when our next tornado outbreak could potentially happen, not for sure because this is a while out now from this point. Now before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Now for today's comment of the day, I want to know if you only had to experience one type of weather for the rest of your life. Like for instance, if I wanted cold and snowy at about 28 degrees for the rest of my life, you have to choose a very specific type of weather. Let me know what that would be for you, and I'll pick one of those for tomorrow's video. I'd be very curious to hear what a lot of you have to say. Alright, now let's get into this video, and we're looking at our day one categorical outlook here. And you can see we have an enhanced risk for Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri, and there is a little bit of a tornado risk. This will by no means be a tornado outbreak though, but we will talk about when we could potentially see one. In our lighter green area, we have a general thunderstorm risk, and in our dark green, we have a marginal risk. Do not underestimate those, by the way, because we do see big severe weather events sometimes surprise us in these types of areas. And also the slight risk in that yellow region, and then that little orange area is the enhanced risk. Don't underestimate any of that because we do get this wrong a lot actually. It is very hard to predict severe weather, so sometimes there will be a slight risk and there probably should have been a moderate risk, and sometimes we have a moderate risk and there should have only been a slight risk, vice versa. Alright, now we're about to move on, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at those individual outlooks, the wind outlook, the hail outlook, and the tornado outlook, and then we're going to kind of get into some modeled guidance. Alright, so here it is, and this is our wind outlook here, and you can see we have a 5% in the green and then a 15% in the yellow. Wind risk isn't really the highest risk today, so let's go ahead and move on to hail risk, which is the highest risk today. Again, in the green we have a 5%, in the yellow we have a 15%, and then in that red area we have a 30% chance there, so a pretty big chance for hail. There is going to be supercells that develop there for Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas. And that's really what's going to lead to these big hail cores and these storms. Supercells are really known for that, having very large hail and also the chance for tornadoes. And we have a hatched region there as well, which means we have a chance for significant hail. I think that's 2 inch in diameter or larger there for that entire hatched region there. So be on the lookout for very large hail, like I said before. And last but not least, let's get into that tornado risk. And this is pretty low. This is on the lower side of the spectrum, but again, don't underestimate it because I do expect to see a couple tornadoes today. Considering the storm mode is supercells, I usually just look for the overall chance that we will see a tornado, at least 1 or 2. In the green chance, we have a 2% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of a given location. Notice that spreads into Tennessee and Kentucky as well as Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, Oklahoma, and a little bit of Texas as well. And then we have that brown region, which is our 5% chance, and that's the main area where we're expecting to see those supercells develop. 5% is pretty moderate for tornadoes, so again, don't underestimate it. We do see a lot of large tornadoes at times in these very low chance tornado events. Alright, now we're about to move on again to the modeled guidance. We're first off going to take a look at this day one modeled guidance, and then we're going to kind of move on to our next chance for some tornado outbreaks. I think I'm going to show you guys two different events that I see in the coming next 2 weeks that could potentially bring a tornado outbreak. Overall, I think that the general trend here is that we're seeing the area shift westward like I predicted in my May forecast. Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas looks to be the kind of highest risk area for these tornado events moving forward. Let's go ahead and look at our model guidance for this event though, and you can see by the time we're at about maybe 5 p.m., and this is going to be today, we see there isn't really much thunderstorm activity outside of Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. Those could actually have some severe weather implications, but that's not our supercells that we're looking at for today. Let's go ahead and look at those dew points, and you can see they're actually very high, close to 70 in those orange shades, which is definitely sufficient for severe weather development. And those actual temperatures, we have 80s widespread throughout our enhanced region, very sufficient. Like I said, look at the 100s there for Texas and Oklahoma, very hot. That's that heat wave I was telling you guys about for these areas. And then let's go ahead and look at that simulated radar again, and this is by about 6 p.m. Still, no supercells have developed, but let's take it one more hour in and look at that development along the northeastern regions in Oklahoma and then southeastern Kansas, as well as throughout Missouri. we're seeing those thunderstorms become more and more potent here. Let's also take a look at about 8 p.m. here, so we're moving on forward, and we see those supercells continue to develop and spread throughout Oklahoma, and then move on 2 hours more, and we see those kind of dissipate a little bit. We're heading towards further into the night. I think by this point, the highest severe weather risk looks to be in Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, and Tennessee, and then by the time we're at about maybe 2 a.m., it's all said and done. All right, so we're about to move on, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some future potential severe weather outbreaks that I told you guys about. For the next 2 weeks, we're going to take a look at some of those events that look possible coming up. All right, so let's take a look at those temperatures by the time we're reaching about the 8th, and this is the next date that I'm a little bit eyeballing. It's really tough to predict these upcoming events, but I am going to show you guys just some dates to kind of mark down that I think could potentially bring some severe weather. Now, the 8th is one of them. That's my next one that I can see. This is the actual temperatures, and you can see we're going to have 70s, 60s, pretty sufficient in the area, also 90s out west for western Texas as well as New Mexico. And look at those dew points, 60s and 70s, definitely sufficient. And then as we take a look at our Cape, this is definitely high enough. We do see those kind of turquoise colors. That's where we're at about 1,000 plus, and that's pretty much what we're looking for severe weather development. And also 2,000 to 3,000 there in those kind of yellowish to red shades. So definitely sufficient there. Let's take a look at what those storms are going to look like at this point. We do have some little individual storms there for Texas potentially as we move a little bit forward here. We're going to see that by about the AM hours on the 8th, we're going to see those thunderstorms kind of expand into eastern Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. And guys, this is all potential, but not guaranteed. I must mention that because these, again, are very, very hard to predict. But I am just letting you guys know I do see the potential for some severe weather by the time we reach about the 8th. But by the time we're reaching about the afternoon hours of the 8th, the Cape seems to be really suppressed to the south. So we're going to really need to see if those thunderstorms develop where we do have Cape or if it doesn't really come together, which is all possible at this point. All right, now we're about to move on to one more date that I'm kind of eyeballing here for the month of May. So we're going to do that. We're going to take a look at the Cape and then the simulated radar for that date. But keep in mind, this date that I'm about to show you guys is pretty far in the future right now. So really take it with a grain of salt because it is really pretty far out. All right, so we're about to take a look at that. All right, so we're taking a look at that Cape, and you can tell that for the 15th of May here, which again is very, very far out, we do have a lot of Cape there throughout the Great Plains, the central United States. So it's just going to be a date that I'm eyeballing because we do have a very, very high amount of Cape there ahead of a cold front here. And you can see that those thunderstorms, now that we're looking at the simulated radar, do develop out in front of it where we do have that sufficient amount of Cape. So I would eyeball the 8th and then the 15th for some severe weather development. Taking a look here, it looks like Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio would not be out of the realm of seeing severe weather. And really, this reminds me of an event that we had actually in the past month or so. If I remember correctly, we did have an event that did expand all the way from Pennsylvania through into Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. So we had lots and lots of areas experiencing severe weather during that event. And this one looks kind of spread out likewise. All right, now we're about to take a look right now at our 6 to 10 temperature probability outlook, and I want to talk a little bit about why the severe weather is kind of slowing down. Remember when I told you guys, if you do keep up with my videos, that we look for warmth to the south, warmer than normal conditions to the south, and then colder than normal conditions to the north. Well, we're heading into a pattern where it's really going to be an east to west type deal. Really, we're looking at colder than normal conditions pretty much for the entire eastern United States, and then warmer than normal conditions for the entire western United States. And this really creates a very stable pattern for where we're not really going to see much severe weather if we see this kind of lock in. We would want to see those reds kind of in this further south areas like Texas, Louisiana, and the deep south, the southeast areas like that, and then those blues to the north for areas like the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. That would create a more favorable pattern for severe weather, but this pattern that I'm showing on screen right now does not look favorable for severe weather whatsoever. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. All right, now, first off, I want to give a shout out to Taylor Sutok. I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name, but he gave me a shout out on his YouTube channel, and I keep up with his YouTube channel actually quite a bit. He's had a YouTube channel for a long time now, been very, very consistent. So that's going to be in the comment down below, the pinned comment, to get to his YouTube channel. He does pretty much daily talking weather videos, and I really appreciate those because they're very, very good. Also, my Twitter and my Facebook group are going to be on both of those, are going to be on, both of those are going to be on the pinned comment as well, sorry. So you can click on those and join those as well. All right, now for today's comment of the day, Jimmy S said, well, I asked you guys what would be your dream job if money wasn't involved, and he said, if money was not included, probably a storm chaser because I love seeing lightning, tornadoes, and other severe weather. And I thought this one was interesting because when I said money wasn't included, I figured that most people, and even including myself, would think of it as like we don't make money doing it. But if money wasn't involved at all, then you could afford to be a storm chaser because it does cost a lot to do things like that. So I thought of it from a different perspective, and it became a more interesting question the more I thought about it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.